My name is Frank Christensen, and I'm the coordinator of officials in IFAF Europe. This is the last of 5 training tapes dealing with defensive pass interference. And today's category is playing through the back. And it's typically a very difficult category or foul to call because it happens very, very close to the ball arriving. So we'll have a look at some examples of what is and what isn't a foul, and we'll talk about how to recognize it and how to call it consistently. But before we get to the game film, let's have a look to see what the rulebook and the MOFO have to say on this topic.
In the rulebook, we go to Rule 738, Defensive Pass Interference. C. Defensive pass interference is contact beyond the neutral zone by a Team B player whose intent to impede an eligible opponent is obvious and could prevent the opponent the opportunity of receiving a catchable forward pass. When in question, a legal forward pass is catchable. Defensive pass interference occurs only after a legal forward pass is thrown. It is not pass interference 1. When, after the snap, opposing players immediately charge and establish contact with opponents at a point that is within 1 yard beyond the neutral zone. 2. When 2 or more eligible players are making a simultaneous and bona fide attempt to reach, catch, or bat the pass. Eligible players of either team have equal rights to the ball. 3. When a Team B player legally contacts an opponent before the pass is thrown. And finally, 4. When there is contact by a Team B player that otherwise would be pass interference during a down in which a Team A potential kicker from scrimmage kick formation simulates a scrimmage kick by throwing the ball high and deep. In the MOFO, we go to Section 3.3 Contact Fouls. 8. Defensive pass interference. A. Action that constitute defensive pass interference include 1. Not playing the ball. Early contact by a defender who's not playing the ball that impedes or restricts the receiver's opportunity to make the catch. 2. Playing through an opponent, which is also the topic of this training tape. Playing through the receiver, that means contacting him in the back or on the side of him furthest from the ball, even if attempting to play the ball. 3. Grabbing an arm. Grabbing the receiver's arm in a manner that restricts his opportunity to catch a pass. 4. Armbar. Extending an arm across the receiver's body to impede his ability to catch a pass, whether or not the defender is playing the ball. 5. Cutoff. Cutting off or riding a receiver out of the path to the ball by making contact with him without playing the ball. That means before the defender looks for the ball. And 6. Hook and turn. Hooking a receiver around the waist that causes his body to turn prior to or even slightly after the ball arriving, even if the defender is trying to get to the ball. B. Actions that do not constitute defensive pass interference include 1. Incidental contact by a defender's hands, arms, or body in the act of moving to the ball that does not materially affect the route of the receiver. If in doubt as to whether the route was materially affected, there is no interference. 2. Inadvertent tangling of feet when both or neither players are playing the ball. 3. Contact that occurs during a pass that is clearly uncatchable by the involved players. 4. Laying a hand on the receiver that does not turn or impede him until after the ball has arrived. 5. Contact on a Hail Mary pass unless it is clear and conspicuous pass interference. C. Further notes. 1. A stationary player in position to catch the ball who is displaced from his position has been fouled. 2. It is never pass interference if the defensive player touches the ball before contacting the opponent. 3. Interference must be conspicuous to be called. 4. Remember that the defense has as much right to the ball as the offense. 5. it is crucial to identify which players are playing the ball and which are not. 6. Normally, an offensive receiver will try to catch the ball with two hands. Often, a defender will try to bat or deflect the ball with only one hand. If the defender goes up with only one hand, know what the other one is doing. 7. When judging whether a pass is catchable, imagine how far the receiver could have run and how high or wide he could have jumped if he had not been impeded. And finally, 8. There is no foul when contact is simultaneous with the ball being touched, the bang-bang situation. When in doubt, contact is simultaneous with the ball being touched. And that was the theory. Now, let's have a look at some game film. On this first play, we're looking at the slot back on the closest to the camera here on the near side. And here comes the ball, and here comes the safety. Now, this is going through the back. The question is the timing, but here I think you can clearly see that he does make contact through the back before the ball arrives. Now, he would probably argue that, well, he was going for the ball, and while that's true, he still cannot go through the back of the receiver even though he's going for the ball. So this is a pass interference. Now, if you'll notice here on the sideline here, a couple of the coaches are arguing that this is an uncatchable forward pass, but I hope we can agree that this is certainly a catchable ball. I mean, the ball almost hits him in the head, or certainly goes through his hands. So this is, and remember, when in question, it's catchable, and here it certainly is catchable, and a foul for DPI playing through the back. On this play, we're looking at the nearest receiver, and of course the covering cornerback here, who clearly gets there early. See right there is the contact, and the ball is quite a ways off, and he does make contact and impede the receiver's ability to catch the ball. And even though the defensive coaches here like the play, this is a correct call for DPI, called by both sideline officials. On this play, we're looking at the middle trips here, A82, who's going to go downfield, and then he's going to get bumped right there before the ball gets here. And I think we can safely say right here the contact starts and the ball has not arrived yet, and it certainly is a catchable ball and everything is in place. However, it's not called, and let's have a look at why that is. So we've got a trips here, so the middle guy is covered by our wing, and the back judge has the tight end A7, and then this happens right here, and A7 goes across the field, and it looks like the back judge stays with A7 a little too long, because now it would be a lot better if the tight end was first picked up by the wing on this sideline, and then once he goes over there, certainly if something were to happen to him or the ball was thrown to him, that he was picked up by the linesman over there. And as soon as the tight end does this, for the back judge to move away from him and go into a zone where A82 certainly goes into that zone. But if we look at the back judge right now, he's actually turning towards A7, and now it's very, very difficult for him to pick up quickly enough what happens to 82, and that's probably why he's late coming around. I'm perfectly fine with him leaving the goal line here. He needs to do that or he's going to get run over. But the turning of his upper body is certainly unnecessary. It's a lot better for the back judge to stay with his front towards the players, and it'd be easier to recognize that he needs to pick up 82 here and actually also do it. So it's too bad we have a miss here, but better mechanics could help us pick this up. On this play, we're looking at the motion guy. He's going to run out closer to the camera here, and then he's going to get hit right there from behind. And I think right there starts the contact, and it's certainly before the ball gets there. And even though he's going for the ball again, if you want to argue that, this is before the ball gets there, and you cannot go through an opponent's back to get to the ball. So this is a good call by the wing and the deep wing. Now as the ball is getting there, we probably have 3 officials looking at it, the 2 sideline officials and the back judge. However, for the back judge, it can be difficult to see with this kind of angle how much contact there is before the ball gets there. So it's okay for the back judge not to have a flag. And right here we've got the 2 sideline officials get together before we go into ball relay. But you know, for the back judge, even though you don't have a flag here, there's still stuff to do. And here the back judge comes and gets the coach off the field, does a good job with that, because we don't want the coach to be on the field like right there. So it's a good job to get him off the field, and the back judge is even rewarded with a little water for his trouble. So that's good job all around from this crew. On this play, we're looking at the inside receiver here closest to the camera. And what's going to happen is the cornerback of the safety is going to go for the ball, but he's going to do that enough through the back that this is a foul. Now, if he were able to get completely side by side, and we'll see that on the next clip, that would be a different story. But here, you know, based on the way the receiver falls forward, is because the contact was from behind, or at least enough from behind that this is a foul. And it certainly is before, it's while the ball is in the air, but before the ball gets there. So this is correctly called a foul. And we'll see right there is the contact, which is the 12-13 yard line, give or take. And here comes one flag, and here comes another flag. And let's just have a look at, see, they both do a good job of adjusting. Where the wing does it the correct way is he picks up his flag, and then he goes to the spot and drops it. Where the deep wing picks up his flag, and then he just kind of tosses it again. If you're going to pick up your flag, please do as the wing here does. Go to your spot and then drop it like that. And we end up much more accurate that way. On this play, we're looking at the middle trips receiver and compare the previous one to this one, and have a look at this contact where the previous one, it was enough from the back. Here, I think right there, you can tell that just the way the receiver falls down, the contact is from the side. And when they're side by side, they have equal rights to the ball. It's you know, physics tells us it's very difficult to go through somebody's back if you're side by side with them. So when the cornerback manages to be side by side like this, he or she is entitled to go for the ball just the way they do here. So that makes this a legal play. On this play and the last 3 plays, we're going to look at situations where it's just too tight to call. We're looking at the inside trips receiver on this play. And this is what we refer to as bang bang, where you cannot really tell what gets there first, the defender or the ball. And when it's this tight, we call it a bang bang, or we typically we leave it alone, because the only way that we can be consistent is to not call this. We might be able to, you know, freeze frame it to see what got there first, but if we can't tell in real speed that the contact was before the ball arrived, then we typically leave it alone and chalk it up to a good defensive play. In this play, we're looking at the middle trips receiver who's going to go downfield here, and then it certainly looks like the receiver goes through the back, but it all has to do with timing. And if you cannot tell if he got there early, if it's so tight that you don't really know if the ball got there before the contact by the defender, then it's considered a bang situation, and we want to leave it alone. We only want to call these if we can tell for sure that the contact was there early, and here we cannot tell. So again, this is a good defensive play. And in this last play, we're looking at the outside receiver here closest to the camera. And you might even say that it looks like the contact is there early, but again, he catches the ball. There's no real intent to impede to get there early. It's certainly close enough that we could categorize this as a bang bang, and I think we're in good shape to leave this alone, because we really want more than this. We want clearly early contact, where this and the previous couple of plays have been more bang bang, and when that is the case, we want to leave that alone, and I think this crew does a good job here. They even get a fairly decent progress spot, even though the receiver is driven back. And that was it for the playing through the back training tape. I hope you found something you can use on the field.